Natalia Bonner. Welcome back. Welcome back to Let's Stitch a Year of Stars Piecing Edition. Okay, so we are on to month 2, which is a dandy start. If you haven't checked out month 1, make sure you hop on back over there and check out month 1. Now, along with this, with these piecing videos, I am also sharing machine quilting videos here on YouTube as well as over on my Patreon page, teaching you step-by-step how to machine quilt these blocks after they're all pieced. So if you want to improve your machine quilting skills, make sure you check out those videos as well. But today we will be focusing on piecing this fun block. Now, before we do get to the piecing, make sure you also check out our Facebook group. We like to call them Facebook communities. We have these awesome groups. It's called Let's Stitch a Year of Stars, where we all like to share our progress. They're really awesome, encouraging groups, and I just love sharing a place with other amazing quilters. So make sure you check out that. All right, let's get stitching. Today with this dandy star, I'm going to be using, instead of the pink background fabric, I'm going to be using gray. My other colors will be pretty similar to the original pattern. Now you can pick up this pattern over on our website, pieceandquilt.com. The pattern does include all of the step-by-step cutting and marking instructions, which you will want to do before you start piecing. So once you have everything all cut out, we're going to grab some of our maroon and pink, but I'm using gray squares. We're using the larger squares here, and we're going to sew a straight line 1/4 of an inch on each side of that center marked line. Now we're actually going to do this with 2 different blocks, so I'm going to do a little bit of chain piecing and make both of these blocks at the same time. So once I've stitched down one side, then I'm going to stitch again down the opposite side. Now that we have stitched 1/4 of an inch on each side of those blocks, I'm going to grab my rotary ruler and I'm going to cut right on that marked line. Now from there, I'm going to press. Personally, I like to press towards the dark, so I'm going to press my fabrics towards the dark. Now that I have 4 of these half square triangles pieced, I can square these blocks up to 4.5 inches. Now let's start working on the next blocks. So you should already have your gold and your background blocks all cut and marked. Now we're going to stitch right along those diagonal lines. You'll see here I am going to sew one side first on all 4 of these blocks. Now, as I'm sewing here, the most common question we've had so far about this stitch along is, where did you get that machine? I've got all the details about my awesome little featherweight in the description below, so make sure you do check that out. So now that I have 4 of those squares sewn on, then I'm going to trim 1/4 inch on the outside of each of those squares. After I trim, then I'm going to press before sewing on the opposite side. All right, so I should have 4 units that look like this. Now I'm going to press these units, again, pressing towards the dark. So I'm going to press towards the gold here. As I'm pressing, I like to set my seams first, then spray a little bit of flatter on there, and then press them towards the dark. Now I should have 4 units that look like this. Now I'm going to add the remaining squares to the opposite corner and again sew right along that marked line. Oh no, you ever do that? Sew without a bobbin thread? Time to fill my bobbin. Okay, we've got her rethreaded and we're back in business. Now, just like before, we're going to trim 1/4 inch on the outside of each of those seam lines. Then we'll press again. After we press, we're ready to put our block together. And again, I love to use flatter, so I'm going to use just a little bit of that, set my seams, and then press towards the dark. All right, now that we have all of those units all sewed, we're ready to put them together. So you should also have a center unit. We're going to start out, our top and bottom rows will be the same, and then we'll have one other unit for the center. Let's make our center unit first. We're going to use one of those side star units, one center unit, and one side star. Sew those three together and we'll have our center unit. Now, personally, I like to chain piece whenever I can. So even though I'm making 3 different rows right here, I am going to chain piece those just to make them come together a little bit quicker. So there's the units for my center row. Then for my bottom and top row, I'm going to use one of the half square triangle units, one of the center units, and sew those together. Personally, I have to lay these out and look at them just to make sure I'm sewing them the right way. All right, now once I have those 3 sewn on, now I'm going to sew the remaining 3 on the opposite sides of those block units. Like I said, I have to lay my designs out to make sure I know that they're sewn on the right way. So there's my 2 top and bottom units, and now my finishing off my center unit, sewing that final end unit on. So now I should have 3 units, top and bottom will be the same, and my center unit will look like this. Now let's press these. I am going to press this center unit with these golds going towards the center, and then I will press these ones going towards the outside. So now that I have my center unit and my 2 end units, I'm going to sew those 3 units together. If you pressed your seams the way that I have pressed my seams, they should just butt up together so nicely. They should just nest together. Now, you can be a lot more precise than I am. You could definitely use pins and pin as you're going. But hey guys, this is me. This is how I really sew. I don't use pins. Ah! All right, we've got the first side sewn on, and I sewed it the right way. So let's sew the remaining one on this side, then we'll press and we'll have an awesome block. So as I'm sewing this, I know somebody's gonna leave a comment and ask me, why don't you pin? I just don't. I'm just crazy and I rush through things. I'm not a perfectionist by any means. For me, piecing is a hobby. It's something I really like to just have fun with. So I try to eliminate personally as much stress as I can and just go with the flow. And there it is. It turned out so cute. I love this Dandy Star quilt block. I'm just going to be pressing it and then I'll show you the final result. And there it is. There's the Dandy Star. Now, if you're stitching along, don't forget to share your progress in our Facebook community. We'd love to see what you're sewing. Plus, don't forget, the first of every month, I'll be showing step-by-step how I machine quilt this fun block. Have a great day, everybody.